Hello and welcome to Discovering Grays Lake, unveiling the stories and people that make our town so unique. I'm your host, David Wool, and I'm thrilled to bring you this new podcast that explores fascinating stories and experiences of local business owners and community leaders, right here where we call home. Grays Lake Rehabilitation Center is a community-based private practice physical therapy provider. Do you know they have 13 clinical providers with various levels of specialties, including orthopedics, sports, neurology, vestibular, geriatrics, pelvic floor, and aquatic? What? Did I just say they have a pool? Well, they do, and it's the largest indoor warm water pool in Lake County, featuring 2 underwater treadmills and swim currents, and recently added clinical treatment specialties, in layman's terms, shockwave. They have both radial and focus units that are the newest tool in regenerative medicine, available to everyone. They pride themselves on the most current and up-to-date specialized care to keep you moving. If you're looking for physical therapy, make sure to see our friends at Grays Lake Rehabilitation. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Discovering Grays Lake. I am recording tonight from Casa de Pruitt.
Yes, you are.
Formally, that's what it's called.
I got to change that now. Put that in the front of our house.
And his address is, there you go. Mike, thanks for being on today. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
So I wanted to have you on a couple things. First and foremost, Bourbon Fest just got done with. If you're listening when this time of basically recording, it was just a couple weeks ago, but the actual date of it was September
14th.
September 14th.
Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's not quite done yet, but because it doesn't finish until the last piece of item goes into storage.
Oh, my gosh. So when would it actually end then?
Hopefully tomorrow.
Okay. One of the things I was very impressed with the job that you guys did with the vendors that were there, the food vendors, the entertainment, everything. It seemed like everything came together flawlessly.
Yeah, I mean, this year out of the last 15 years of running this festival, it probably was the smoothest one we've done. And I mean, my staff's still telling me like this was perfect, and it only took us 15 years to get there. So
15 years in the making.
No.
So the 15 years of that. So let's before we talk about anything else, let's go back to the first Bourbon Fest. Do you remember like what are the biggest challenges of like getting that going? What was your motivation actually to get it off the ground?
Well, it was actually the whole fest started off as a bourbon tasting, and it was just a kind of something small to celebrate our anniversary of the Vine. And the Vine kind of came into transition when it opened in September 11th, which wasn't always a fun date to deal with and to be around, so we needed something fun to kind of celebrate, but also keep our minds off of it. And what better way than bourbon? And at the time when we opened, we were kind of just a martini wine bar, and we needed something more to bring guys in. So that was the other reason, was the bourbon. And it started off like 35 to 50 people probably, and then it just grew. And it's a different animal now. So it was in the main restaurant, and then we kind of moved it outside to our patio, and then to the side street. The first couple of times on the side street, it had multiple like 10 by 10 tents, and it was not the best format or best layout, but it kind of got us through it. And those were harder days for the fest because we had to work around multiple events on one weekend, back with the Oasis. And so we had Bourbon Fest, Blues Fest, and then Rib Fest, downtown Rib Throwdown, which was like bam, bam, bam. So it was 3 solid days of being there early and being there late.
Holy cow. And those would all be in one weekend?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know that you would sign up for that again today, would you?
No. No, unless it was more people in the pot organizing it and helping out, but myself, no. I mean, this Saturday I put in 40,000 steps. We started at 6:30 in the morning and ended at 12:30 at night.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so
all right, so 15 years in the making. Now you come to this one. How does you think this year compares? Because last year was a big success as well.
It was. 2019 was probably our best. 2019 we set records, but then COVID hit and we kind of put on delay. And then last year was the first time we brought it back, and it was a success. I mean, it could have been bigger, but it was a success that the fact that me personally, I didn't know if I was going to have the energy to do it again, or I was nervous, because the event itself costs me probably about 15 to 20 grand out of pocket to put on. So it's like, if I do this, are people going to come out? Is it going to be worth it?
Better work, right?
Are we going to break even? There's so many variables beyond that. And so for us to start it, it was a good success. There was a lot of hiccups around technology and stuff. So we started using a self-scan ticket app, so we can scan your ticket at the door, which we used this year, and it worked out perfect. But last year, when we sold out of VIP, I changed the name to Sold Out, and I didn't know, and the ticketing company didn't know, and it messed up the whole database. So
really,
here we are, 250 people coming in. At the time, actually only 200, because we upped it this year, coming in for VIP, and it's not working. And we're on the phone with people in Canada, and
when did you realize that?
Yeah, when we scanned the first ticket, and the whole line was there. So one of the things we did that last year, we had a pivot, and that's one of the words I always use is pivot, and we just faked it till we made it. So while they're trying to figure it out in Canada, we're just acting like we're scanning tickets. So I mean, somebody could have easily had their ticket scanned and gave it to another friend, and we could have had it easily 400 people at VIP, right. But nobody knew. Just make it look like it worked. So they gave us their ticket. We looked, oh, yep, it's good, and passed them through because they weren't scanning. So crazy. It was just, it was, all right, get everybody in.
Well, speaking of VIP, I want to stop right there, too, because looking forward to next year, which is September 13th, 2025.
Yes, so. Yes, and it's a Saturday, not a Friday, so we're good there.
Good. So somebody may be looking to, because I didn't know, like, what do you get with your VIP ticket?
So VIP, we did something new this year. We did hour early entry.
Okay.
But then they get a special VIP area in the back patio, our newly renovated patio. So back there they can get other cocktails besides just beer or bourbon. They can order food, sit down, sit by the fireplace, be covered if it rains.
Right. So don't even say that word.
Yeah. And then certain distilleries and breweries had special things out during the VIP hour. So that was another thing. So,
are you looking for a great time right in the heart of our awesome community? Well, look no further than the Grayslake Village Center, your one-stop destination for all things fun and fabulous. Picture this: historical downtown vibes with a mix of diverse businesses, an array of unique shops, and delicious restaurants. Many with outdoor seating, with an option to soak up the sun or shade. But that's not all. The Village Center is where the action is. And just like the weather, it's definitely heating up. There are events that take place all year round for the whole family. But now, you'll even have more options. Fill up your calendar with things to do. Also, take a stroll through Central Park, Gelatin Park, surrounding trails, green spaces, and more activities to keep you and your friends and family active all summer long. And now that the weather is warming up, dive into the Aquatic Center. Open Memorial Day to Labor Day. But wait, there is more. Visit GrayslakeVillageCenter.com to discover an incredible lineup of events that are happening every month. Be in the know. Not sure what you're waiting for, so come on down, soak up the local vibes, and enjoy the experience that's unmistakably local and uniquely Grayslake. Grayslake Village Center, where the fun never stops.
And with our VIP,
easy for you to say.
Oh my God, tongue twister. VIP is, you don't even have to edit that.
I wasn't going to.
Yeah, right. God. So with the VIP, it also gets people to get there earlier. And for us, it helps us. Because it helps us kind of work out some kinks, get everybody in, and not have to take on the full 1,000 people that show up all at once. Right. So,
well, I can tell you too from shooting video from the year before that I was waiting to have like this huge video of this huge line going all the way down the road, and at 6:00 there was a little bit of a line, but people moved through really good. And then you texted me later when it got to 7, like, oh, there's a line again, and I was like, oh, but. From a customer experience, it flowed better. Yeah, and it made it a really good experience.
Well, I mean, the good thing is we had not only figured out the ticketing scanning, but we had 3 different setups to where you came in, we're scanning you. If your ticket's not working, we'd pull you off the side, fix it real quick, get you in. Because we were able, I mean, you're scanning somebody's phone, so sometimes phones aren't the cleanest, or might have a broken screen, so sometimes you got to work around that, or people
turn the brightness up.
Yeah, they can't find their tickets, so you have to look them up on the database. But we got that through, and the biggest part, Jody Sinkmeyer's team, Bob Sinkmeyer and them, they were amazing. Like, oh God, I told him afterwards, I was like, you guys crushed it. They took a lot off our plate that we weren't expecting, and it kind of opened us up to be able to focus on other stuff.
And they really do a lot to give back to the community. I love working with them. And their hard work. They actually worked. Yeah. They just didn't stand around and drink like me. They worked.
Stop. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, no,
okay, so
awesome.
let's talk about bourbon vendors first. I know it's bourbon and beer.
Yeah.
Do you have to limit it at a certain amount? How do you get those people, and how do you select them?
So a lot of it's we work with local distilleries first, like Koval and stuff like that we want them there, and then from there we work with our distributors. That's the biggest key is distributors because they can bring in the reps, they can bring in the manpower, and then from there we've gotten a couple that. I mean, they're not even in Illinois. They just wanted to be there because they heard about it. They flew in for it. Yeah, so that was cool.
That's honor. That's an honor too. That's really cool.
And then the biggest thing for us, I'm going to take on one if they have a rep attached because it cuts down our manpower.
Right.
And when you're talking probably 50 different distilleries with 4 products each that they're sampling out, plus the beer side, you can't fill that up with volunteers. It'd be impossible.
Right. So they have to have their reps there to help out. That's good. Okay, so is that did you set that at a certain amount that you wouldn't let any more in, or like if I'm a distiller right now, like listening to this and I want to be part next year?
We are going to make more room next year for more. Working on some ideas, some plans, but the biggest thing is how much we can fit in a tent. We try to split them 2 distilleries per table. And this year we kind of went over it. It worked on paper, but some of the distilleries brought things that we weren't expecting, like side games or props.
Or a giant golden pig.
A giant golden pig. Whistle pig did.
Which I love, by the way.
So we had to, once again, pivot and add some extra tables in last minute. And then same thing with the beer side. We had our number, and then we last minute had 3 other breweries that wanted to be in. So lucky enough, local breweries like Black Lung, Harbor, and Ninth Hour were able to bring their own tents and beer trucks and set up on the outside of the main tent.
Right, I saw that. That helps out too.
Which
right?
I think helps them too, people.
We're taking a quick break just to say hello because everybody knows Nano, and Nano knows real estate. And actually, I believe that's the name of her Instagram page. So if you're looking to buy a home, sell a home, or know somebody in the market for a home, contact Nano from Baird & Warner. She's a Grayslake girl helping out Grayslake people.
Yeah,
See them
it's
off
not
the
so
beaten path.
congested in there, right?
Yeah. And they get it's like their own little party outside the big tent.
Right. Okay, so you had those guys, and then obviously some local food vendors and other food trucks from around as well.
So with the vendors, that's probably the hardest part because we did turn away a couple that wanted to be there. One was a barbecue vendor. Another one was Nothing But Cakes. And then there was a third one, an empanada company. But the thing was, we had a barbecue vendor. They're a big sponsor of barbecue productions. They sponsor our glassware. So I can't do that to them. We had Pink Cupcake Company. She's been there every year almost. Can't do that to her. Right. And then with the South African Meat Pie Company, we couldn't sit there and replace them with the empanada company. So we, as much as you do want to do that, you also got to be polite to the vendors you have and make sure they're there to make money too.
Right. Well, and I like that too because giving them respect because you would pay those other vendors the same respect and not let anybody in. So I'm sure that they understand.
Yeah. No, they do.
We were talking before we hit record on the big things. There's like 5 or 6 things that people probably don't think about that actually make things work.
Safety, security, sanitation. Those are the big things I think that branch off to other things that people don't realize. I mean, with sanitation, you think, okay, when we think sanitation, we probably think during COVID hand sanitizer, but there's a lot of things like a number of trash cans available in a certain distance. If you can't see a trash can standing from a spot, put another one there.
Really?
The dumpsters that dump all that trash in, all the extra bottles, all the extra cardboard, all the extra glass, and then you have porta potties. I mean, one of the things with the first Grayslake Beer Fest we ran into, and I was planning that out, because I ran that for about 6 years with the committee. And
how many porta potties did you get?
Oh, my God, we didn't have enough at all. And it was a miscommunication, and right after the fest was done, I was within like 10 minutes of closing everything up. I was on the computer redesigning the logo. Instead of a water tower, we put a porta potty. So the first negative comment we had, like, here's a new logo. We're already on top of it.
You were already ready to go.
It's like, because, I mean, people are paying to go. I understand that they're going to be upset. And the last thing you want at an event is people just stand in line for something when they can be socializing, drinking, having a good time.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and especially porta potties because that's the whole thing for every event you go to.
Yeah.
Yeah, been to a lot of, I was going to say, shit shows.
Yeah.
With porta potties.
Easily.
No pun intended.
Easily. And then the other part of the sanitation when it comes to the actual bourbon and beer festivals is where's this beer go after they try it? If they don't drink it all? So you have to have spill containers. You have to have water in stations. Your food vendors have to have their own health licenses, their own certificates of insurance. You got to make sure they're following those guidelines. One of the things I do is I walk around, and I love our food vendors, but I still look to see what they're doing, and I'll call them out on it. If I don't see a hand washing station or something, I'm like, it needs to be there, because I'm not going to get in trouble.
Absolutely.
Last thing I need is 1,000 people getting sick, and it could happen. So
right. So the sanitation rolls over to safety as well.
Yeah, and then safety. Is a big one. After running multiple is a small word, dozens of events, car show, that was always one that you had to be careful about safety, because not only are you bringing cars in, you're bringing expensive cars in, but you also got to make sure people don't get hurt, animals don't get hurt,
the
kids
cars
don't
everywhere.
get scratched. And then one year we had a kid have a seizure, and we had to get an ambulance in there, and pulling an ambulance in with hundreds of people in the way and cars coming down, it's tough, but you pre-plan routes. So if something happens, you tell the ambulance which direction to come in from. Same thing with the Bourbon Fest. As packed as it looked, or as compact as it looked, we can still get an ambulance through there if needed. So
that's good. And actually, it's funny, some of the drone shots that we were taking from, somebody goes, doesn't look like there's that many people there. I said, that's because they're under the tent.
Yeah.
It was very weird to look at from up above going, because you didn't realize. But there is, and I like that.
Yeah, when it's later on at night when everybody comes out of the tents, when the sun goes away, is when you realize, oh crap, we got a lot of people here. So, and that's the other part of safety, is you got to get everybody out in a safe manner. And when unlike the car shows and some of our other events with the bourbon and beer, you got to make sure people aren't overserved.
Right.
You got to make sure there's no fights. You got to make sure if something breaks. I mean, our guys were on it. If a glass broke, they were cleaning it up.
Right.
They were on walkie-talkies running. And then the biggest thing is getting everybody out, shuffling everybody to that front door, because you get those people, and it was even with Beer Fest back in the day, is people, they're like, oh, I don't want to leave. And I'm like, I've been here since 6 in the morning. I want to go home.
Yeah, right.
It's like, and the biggest thing they don't understand, it's not really the fact that we want to get home, is the tent companies that we use, we have contracts, and they're going to show up at 10:30, 10:45 and get out of their way because they come in like a monsoon. We can't pack anything up until we get everybody out. And then with the bourbon and beer, on top of it, we have to take cases and cases and kegs. I mean, there's probably 20 cases of beer and like 12 kegs that we had to get back into the vine and sort it out. And
I was hanging on during that point. I tried to help, but then
make sure they're good. All the liquor goes in boxes. That goes in lockup. That gets inventoried. There's a lot of things that you have to get out of the way. And then when those tent guys come in, they're on time. They say 10:30, they're at 10:30 and they're ready to go. So you can't have anybody there. And then the biggest thing is making sure when people are leaving, we got to make sure that their glasses are empty. We have to make sure that hopefully nobody's taking stuff. It's just, there's a lot of things that we're watching for at the gate, and then biggest thing is that they're not too intoxicated to get home. So you make sure they have a ride, and it's a lot of stuff to overlook.
Yeah, and that seemed like a lot harder, especially at Bourbon Fest, to say make sure nobody's overserved, because how many bartenders were actually at Bourbon Fest?
Yeah, no, it is, but it's one of those things. I've been to smaller things where people are more intoxicated or overserved than like Bourbon Fest. I don't know if it's because of the amount of people there or because people know what they're up against. They just don't go crazy on it.
Yeah. No, and it's a great event, and I love when there's things like that and there's no problems and everything's smooth, and it's like it just goes great.
Yeah, because I've had other events where things have happened, and including Bourbon Fest. We had one year we had to call an ambulance in for a gentleman because he passed out drunk, and the crazy part, we just opened. We were like 2 minutes in, and he didn't have a wristband. He just jumped a gate. Came from somewhere else.
Well, he was hammered before he got there.
Yeah. And I was just like, but you're trying to do this. You got people coming in, and this is happening, and you're just like, oh my God, here we go. And lucky enough on our part, he, like I said, jumped a fence. He didn't check in. He didn't get served. So thank God from a event standpoint. But still, it's one of those things. Okay, now let's get rid of these plastic fences. And thank God the village, they've been amazing. As much as some people can give a village a hard time, it does take a village, and they helped us with a lot with fence and trash cans, helping with barricades, letting us put signs out, helping with extra garbage cans, things that, I mean, we could probably afford to bring in, but I can't afford to store. I can't afford to store 70 barricades or fencing. That's insane.
Right.
So,
no, it's nice. It's nice when everybody works together like that, because there's so many events in Grays Lake, and it's great that our town has the reputation of being able to throw events like this.
Yeah, and it's not only the fact that I look at it as a business owner too, is they help out events a lot. People don't realize how much the village does for events.
Right.
But they're helping out a business. This event's not attached to an organization. It's the one event that we kind of do for ourselves. We do a lot of events for organizations, but occasionally got to do one for the team.
Sure.
And they help with it still. It's not like one of those things where like, oh, well, it's not for the chamber, it's not for this, it's not for Exchange Club, it's for a business. They don't turn an eye to it. They help us.
Right.
So it's huge.
All right.
It means a lot.
Awesome. I want to talk about some other events in the past, but before we do that, I want some numbers, like how many people came. Do you have any idea?
So this year, the numbers that we looked at from the cash that we brought in and the sales, I think we're about 965.
Wow. That's great.
Give or take. Some people didn't make it in the gate. But then people don't realize when you talk about numbers, I don't just look at those numbers. I look at how many volunteers, how many people. So, I mean, we had over 1,000 people there between volunteers and employees, and so it's a lot of people on one site at once.
1,000 people.
Yeah,
that's crazy. When you were planning this year, what was your projection? Did you think the numbers are pretty close to that?
I was shooting for 1147.
Just ballpark number 1147.
And that's if we gave every vendor or every volunteer a glass. Some of them leave without them. But looking at what we had left, we were pretty close to it.
Yeah. Why 1147?
Because it was supposed to be 1250, but the glass company messed up and so they gave me a credit. I didn't know until we went to look at the boxes. I'm like, oh, we got to change the ticket count. So that was one mishap that did happen. We were short about 103 glasses.
Wow.
But that happens.
The glasses were nice too.
Yeah, they were good. Yeah, we already have one planned for next year.
Nice.
So we change it up every year.
That's cool.
Been the goal.
Awesome. Okay, so people that would like to get involved for next year, like from your sponsorship things to things like that, they just get a hold of you directly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just me.
Yeah,
so.
Because it's a great opportunity to get your name out, especially I'm sure that Chris is probably doing the classes next year. Or do you let
I think he will. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Chris has been easy to work with.
Chris Schoenberger, shout out to you, Buddy Barbecue Productions.
Yeah, no, he's been easy to work with. A lot of our sponsors that we've had in the past come back to help us.
Good.
And then lucky enough this year we had some pretty big sponsors like 2XO Bourbon out of Louisville. We had Four Roses out of Kentucky. We had Lagunitas Brewing. With their support, Chris's and a lot of the other, we had Jody Sinkmeyer do the shirts. We had a couple other smaller ones, and by smaller I mean like $500, $750, but that all adds up, and
Amen.
They took a lot of that cost off our plate.
That's great.
And that's the biggest stress about it all, is if we don't have somebody taking that off, I'm a different person that week of or a month before.
Nobody's going to want to.
Because it's scary. It's people wait till the last minute.
Right.
And my own friends do that. They'll be like, oh, I'm coming. Or like, I don't know if I'm coming.
Buy the tickets.
Yeah, I'm like, right. I don't even care if they buy a ticket when it's somebody I know. It's like, I'll give you a ticket. I just need to know how many people to plan for.
Right.
I mean, when you're planning to do a cookout at your house, you might have 10 people coming over, and it's stressful. Or Thanksgiving dinner, and I'll try planning for 1,000 people.
Right.
And then the variables that aren't in your hand, like other vendors and their reps and sponsors, who's going to show up? Do you need somebody last minute to pour for them?
Right.
Things like that. It adds up, and it can get pretty scary pretty quick.
Hey, neighbors, this is Bill Mock with the Grays Lake Chamber of Commerce. And if you're looking for a network of hard-working, customer-focused, and generally friendly local businesses who are dedicated to helping each other succeed, then I'd like to invite you to check out and consider joining our Grays Lake Chamber. We offer our members so many ways to advance their businesses through social networking events, special event sponsorships, informative lunch and learns, and the ever-popular after-hours mixers. Come see why we say we're the new wave of business here in Lake County.
Yeah. Oh, kudos on the bands too. I thought
they were
bands, right?
Yeah, so we had 3 bands. We had the Complex, which they do a lot with us. Brennan and Jake are amazing, and those guys. I mean, my own son's played with them twice while he's bussing tables, so they're just awesome guys. And then from there, we had the Gurus, their acoustic act. I think I probably should have did the full band, but either way, they rock with a 3-piece. And then the last band was White Rabbit Objective. Mallory, she's local, but she lives in Chicago now. And it's with her, she's kind of like Amy Winehouse, I'd say probably like Joplin.
Yeah, she was really good.
Yeah, she
did some Joplin tunes too.
Yeah, did she? Oh, dude, she can sing, man. So it was fun. And the sound guy I had, it was his second year doing it with us, and he was easy to work with. So
nice.
Yeah, for me, it's like those are key things. If you get somebody that's easy to work with, it makes it a lot easier on you.
That's it. Just don't even be seen. Just as long as you just do your job. And these days it's hard because I'm not sure if everybody knows it, but not everybody does their job. That might be surprising to people.
Yeah.
But it's nice when it just goes smoothly. All right, so I wanted to kind of wrap that up for Bourbon and Beer Fest. And then I want to talk about, before we go backwards, I want to talk about some events that you have coming up. I know some charity things that come in, or some what do you call them, charity fundraisers, whatever.
Yeah.
But what's going on the rest of the year for the Vine?
Oh, man. So
because before I do that, too, 15-year anniversary for the fest, but 18 years for the Vine.
Yeah, 18 years, 2006 September, so we're in it.
It's crazy.
Yeah, we're on year 19 now, so here we go. So our future events, we have starting this weekend, Oktoberfest, which the menu should probably, I think, come out tomorrow for everybody to see, but it'll start on Friday. Okay. So that's going to run through the 20th of September to October 5th. So I don't know if it's already happened after people are listening to this or what.
We'll be right in the middle.
Yeah, right in the middle. So the chef, Amy and Chef Eric have been working on a really cool menu, and then we have, I think, 5 or 6 different Oktoberfest beers, and then some fall cocktails, and then...
It's often said that those who fail to plan are planning to fail. Joe Velez and his team at JPV Financial create unique financial plans that address some of the most difficult challenges that people might face as they get older. No matter what stage of life you're in, having a proactive financial plan can help navigate some of the difficult decisions you'll face, helping you live your life by design, not default. Securities and investment advisory service offered through Osaic Wealth Inc. Member FINRA SIPC.
Some live music here and there, but to be honest, it's mostly to focus on the food. And that's the goal, is get people out to try some of these Oktoberfest foods, and his schnitzel sandwich, which is awesome.
I bet the chefs are excited.
Yeah. So and then we have some small events coming up. We'll probably do the pumpkin painting again. Jody Sinkmar's group was pretty good on that. Definitely doing the Christmas pop-up, if anybody missed that last year. It was not really a 1-day, 2-day event. It was like a 3-month thing.
Yeah, so your pop-up was the whole season.
Yes, it was. So I don't even know if you call that even an event or like a concept. I mean, I think it's an event. It's a pop-up.
Sure.
Yeah, it has a timeline. And then Toys for Tots Ugly Sweater Party. That's a big one we've been doing forever.
Always fun.
Yeah, that one, it's amazing. Not only to see how many people come with sweaters, but to get together and raise a lot of toys. And Brennan Rafferty's a huge help in that. We've done so many events in the past, different bar crawls, whether it was a zombie bar crawl to his Christmas ones to Easter bar crawl. He likes bar crawls.
It's amazing. It really surprises me, Brendan.
So, and then our other ones, we have our New Year's Eve dinner. We're working on that right now, and then beer dinners and stuff. We're gonna start bringing those back.
Cool. When are the New Year's? When is that gonna go for sale?
Once probably we get through October.
Nice.
Yeah, we typically when we get closer to December, that one sells out pretty quick.
Yeah, I was gonna say you sold that out really quick last year.
Yeah, and it's a fun event. It's we've gone from anywhere from 5 to 7 courses paired with wine. We've done balloon drops, live bands, and then champagne toast. And then last year we had the back patio open too, so we had people coming in. Once the dinner's done, anybody can come party with us, and it's just nice because it's close to home.
Right.
And it's like you have to go to the city,
which makes it great. Right. No, and especially being my age and going around, it's nice to have something if somebody wanted to have a nice fancy dinner, they can still do it.
And it gets us chances to show what we can do back there, what our guys can do. So we've gotten lucky with a lot of other dinners in the past, including did a molecular gastronomy dinner, which was like the first time it's ever been done in Lake County. And at the time, one of my good friends through high school, a family friend, Chris Jones, was on Top Chef. So he made it third in Top Chef Texas, and
that's cool.
He was the head chef for Moto, which was downtown Chicago at the time. So he came and helped us do all that. And Moto's no longer here. The owner passed away, rest in peace. But the concept they had was amazing, and he let us play around with some of that and showed us different techniques and things that you would be like, I would never do this. Like cooking with liquid nitrogen and different things that I'm like, this is crazy, but it was cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it was cool thinking outside the box.
Wow.
So.
Okay, so that's what we got going on for the rest of this year. It's cool because you have so much history, especially in events and everything in Grays Lake, that I think when you were at the first podcast and we started talking about like how you started and Vine and everything, and with Joyce and all these things, but like starting and getting your feet wet into events, these things have really adapted to bigger and better all the time. Yeah. But you had a run where you did a lot of things that I want to talk about first, and then talking about how you took a step back for a while, but then back into certain things that you like to be involved in.
So starting my early days, I think my passion for events, or like the reason why I like them so much would probably stem from like as a kid. So like my grandpa used to be part of the St. Pete Open, which was the largest dive tournament in Florida and one of the biggest ones in the U.S. And they did it out of St. Petersburg, Florida. And he ran that for a long time. Well, my dad would help him too. So I would see all aspects, like them setting up, doing everything, breaking down. And then I would help Dad like lay out they had this beautiful like 20-page or 30-page like brochure that each diver got, and they were there. It was full color, and I'd help Dad like plan it all out. And back then it wasn't on computer. It was you were laying this thing out picture to picture on a whiteboard and
cool.
Scanning it in, and it was a different world then. And watching that and getting hands wet doing that stuff, it was awesome. So I was like, this is fun. So seeing that as a young age kind of perked me up when I started to be able to do events. It made it a lot more fun. And then meeting Joyce was probably when I got more into it. And I wouldn't say it was more her showing me the way. It was more her asking me to plan something, or, hey, what if we have this idea, and me having a hard time saying no. And it was like we started being told it was voluntold to do it. But then that kind of, you started to see the addiction on, okay, well, why don't we do this? Why don't we try this? And then it started to overleak onto other organizations, whether it was helping out District 46. I mean, we've helped out with Movie in the Park, whether it's Carmel Street Scenes. We had a massive room there for years. That's how I became good friends with Stu. Yeah. Rib Fest, Blues Fest. We did events with the library. We're probably the first people to serve alcohol in the library, which is...
I think I was there right along with you.
Yeah. And then whether it was Monopoly Night that they did back in the State Bank of the Lakes basement to wine tastings at Byron Colby Barn. We've even done things at the exotic car sales place in Lake Forest, a wine tasting. So, we have a hard time saying no, or did. And then COVID came, and it kind of just wiped out everything. It was probably 2 or 3 years till we decided to get the courage to do it again. And then having to do that is tough. It's like you look at things and you're like, okay, do you think it's ready to? And then you're hearing of other events failing or things trying to happen. And it's just, it's hard. It's but then once we kind of started getting smaller events in and stuff, it became a little easier.
Yeah. No, and it is weird, for everything shutting down like that. Because I heard of events failing left and right, and people were scared to go out, or they weren't throwing the things they were.
I mean, even on your other side of the business, like wedding businesses, they were just, it was tough.
Yeah, that was a joke, and nobody knew it was happening. And
I love concerts. I mean, when I started working at Last Chance, I'd go to concerts like every month.
Yeah.
And busting tables to go to concerts, and I still do that. But going to concerts right out of COVID, you're seeing only like 10,000 people or 5,000 people in a 30,000 person stadium, and you're like, it's sold out, and just people weren't not going or buying them. They just weren't going. They would buy them and just not show up. I mean, as a concert lover, it was nice, but then as an event organizer, you're looking at this, you're like, oh, God, if people aren't showing up to watch these bands that are amazing, are they even going to come out to something local?
Right.
So
what do you think the first one was out of those times that gave you faith to run the rest of them? Is there one that you can remember and going, all right, we're okay now?
I would probably think like Toys for Tots is ones we started messing around with. Big wise would probably be the Bourbon Fest, just jumping back into that.
Right. So 19 was the last one, and then 3 years off.
2023 was our next one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So now hammer down from here.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the accomplishments that you've made with this, especially I love to see when I went on to your thing, and you had 3 anniversaries going on at the same time, which is very cool. I don't know which one's better, 100 years sober or 100 days sober.
100 years sober would be 100 crazy. Years sober. If I can make it to 140, I think it'll be good.
Right. No, but all of those things combined, so it's exciting.
Yeah.
Moving forward with good things to celebrate, and all those things coming right.
Yeah.
Was the Bourbon Fest and your opening of your business, are that planned together, like close?
Well, the Bourbon Fest was
the first.
It was our anniversary party.
And that was a 3-year anniversary party at that time, right?
Well, no, it was our 1-year anniversary, but it was 3 events.
Gotcha.
But the 3 events thing didn't happen probably until like the 3rd or 4th one.
Wow.
I had to look at.
Yeah.
They all started to blend together.
Yeah. You probably have a lot of T-shirts. Do you have a T-shirt for all these events?
I do actually have a quilt blanket.
Who made that, Mike?
Amy my wife makes them. So instead of throwing these shirts out, she just cuts them up. Right. Most of she tells me sometimes now, but sometimes things will just disappear.
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of my old band shirts. Mm-hmm. But it's nice. It's a nice keepsake.
Oh, it is cool. All right. What other things you want to cover? Because I know that it's exciting to talk about the things from the past, things of the future, things coming up. Any big things that we need to know about, that Grays Lake needs to know about, that the Vine is doing or you're planning event-wise?
Not yet. We have ideas, but I kind of want to keep them at bay until we're ready to
for now
say what's next.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Most people have no idea what to do with their aging loved one who needs help. Well, there is a solution. A company that provides care and assistance to make your loved one feel right at home. At Right at Home, their mission statement is to improve the quality of life for those they serve. They offer extensive services: personal and companion care, safety supervision and transportation, fall prevention, dressing and bathing assistance, medical reminders, meal prep, hospice support, ambulation support, stroke recovery, Parkinson's support. The list goes on and on and on. If you have an aging loved one that needs help, call Right at Home. Most people prefer to age in their home rather than moving to an assisted living or nursing home. Right at Home can make this happen. Contact Right at Home at rightathomenlc.com or give them a call, 847-984-0103. Now back to the show.
No, I mean, I think one of the things you wanted to cover was kind of like more on the planning side of this.
Yeah, because I don't think people understand what it actually takes to put on something like this.
It's
like, when does planning start for next year?
Today. It's already so the second the fest is over, we start working on notes, look at last year's notes, which I still have, things that we could have done still that we want to do. There's a lot of things that we had from last year, like good ideas, notes, good feedback that we still didn't implement this year because we were trying different things to implement, and you don't want to take on too much new stuff to where it becomes new to the organizer and not just to the people helping out.
Right.
It can get hard.
And those new things, at least you can keep an eye on 1 or 2 things that are coming. But
so the biggest thing was getting the video done, the thank you video, which your company did.
Yeah.
Sky's the limit.
Thank you. It was fun doing.
It was awesome.
And you should see how much footage we have that we didn't use. What is it, like 2 minutes long? And I think I have like 50 minutes of footage.
I bet.
I should just dump it all to you just so you can.
I don't even want to know where that camera went to that night.
There's some blackmail on there for people,
right.
That's for sure.
For Grays Lake.
So now we have a recap video and we have a promo for next year.
Yeah. And that was the thing. I've been wanting to do a new video, and I think last year we tried to, but you were out of town, I think, or something came up. And then seeing the comments this year, people were like, you need to show off the new deck and everything. So it's like, okay, here we go. So it worked out good, though. We did some time lapse stuff on the video this year. That was cool, and we're going to use a lot of that for marketing for next year and cutting apart the previous year's ones too and combining them. And then the big thing right now is next thing is securing the date with the village. We have a tentative date, which is the 13th, but actually securing it and then following up with the sponsors, making sure they enjoyed it. So far, it seems like 95% of them have already gotten back. And then hopefully locking them in for next year and growing it. And then probably, I would say, July is when I start working on it next year. About probably, between April and July.
Wow.
And by working on it, I mean designing all the marketing materials. So everything you see that we do, like the website, the flyers, the posters, that's all going through me. So I got to change all that over.
And you make a lot of work for yourself, by the way. I know you like it, but it's pretty intense.
This year's poster was cool, and I have ideas for the next one. It's going to kind of follow the lead and change it up. Because when I helped do the Grays Lake Beer Fest, I think it's 6 or 7 of them. I have them all up in my basement. I would change up the poster every year and do something fun. So
like the porta potty.
Yeah, no, that actually wasn't a poster. That was just a logo change. But that would be funny. So starting on that, updating all the websites, starting a Facebook group, updating social media, and then going from there. A lot of the actual big planning. I mean, the vendors and stuff we kind of copy and paste and work out with what we want to add for the space. But everything else you really can't do until you get closer.
Right.
It's hard because I mean if I talk to breweries right now, I'm like, hey, you guys in? Oh, yeah, we're in for next year. But if
a lot of things
I don't talk to them a month before or 2 months before or 3 months before or 6 months before. So it's a lot of continuous checking up on people and making sure, okay. And just because you have one rep that says they're in there, they might not be with them in 6 months. And there's a lot of that happening in the beer world right now. It's sad. It's a lot of I could at least name probably 3 reps there that had different jobs a month ago, different breweries that some of them aren't even with us anymore or aren't in Illinois. And it's just sad to watch them all jump around.
Wow. And you're doing all of this stuff.
Yeah.
So you're making these phone calls and getting everything together.
Yeah. So when it comes to marketing, planning, meeting with the village, a lot of that stuff's me. And then I have some key players like Martha's a huge help on the background for helping organize all the whiskey side. I mean, I kind of give her hey, this is who I've talked to, this is my list, but help me hone it in. Because it's hard because there are a lot of distributors and a lot of reps that will work their butts off and help you, but then there are some that it just might be not on their agenda at the time. So it's a lot of just follow-ups.
Wow. So, it's a lot, and a lot of boxes to check along the way.
Yeah, because that could be the hardest thing to deal with. That could just ruin everything. Like I said, if something doesn't show up. We had that happen last year. We had beer that was supposed to come in through a distributor, and then they thought the rep was bringing it. The rep was coming from somewhere else. Thank God the rep, we caught it early, and he was able to pick some up from a local Binny's, and it was just, but one of those things, it's God, if we knew that just a couple of days before, it would have been easy, but you just rely on somebody, and it can change on a dime.
And with the amount of people there, you're going through a lot of product.
You do, yeah.
I want to see the garbage cans of bottles from there. It had to be enormous.
It was and it wasn't. I mean, there was a lot. I've seen crazier, but you got to remember this festival is a lot of bourbon, so it's the split. And then it also depends on. I mean, we've had years when it was 100 degrees, or years it's raining, so it depends on the weather too. I mean, if it's hot, people might drink a lot more. And if it's cool, we were in that middle. It was still a little humid, a little cool.
Yeah.
It was sociable. We had one year, it was I think 40 degrees.
Holy
and we're
smokes.
setting up giant heaters and stuff just for people to stay.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that time of year, it's a crapshoot. But you do all of that work, and then I think that day when I walked in, I was like, oh, my God, we're blessed just to have such a wonderful day.
Yeah,
you do all that work, and it can go one way or the other.
It was like that at 6:30 when I got there. I was like, okay, it's going to be a beautiful day. Meanwhile, I mean, at 6:30 when I got there, we had power go out in Grays Lake that morning at 2 a.m. So that
what did
night,
that do to you?
Well, Friday night I got my phone went off because I didn't know because when we lost power, ADT they called me, the security company, and they're like, you have a power outage. So I'm like, okay, no worries, and it went back up, but then I had to go through, set all of our servers over, internet, everything. I mean, a lot of our stuff in the restaurant's automated, like all of our TVs and stuff. So had to restart all that, get things ready. So it added like 30 minutes because I knew about it. But if I didn't know about it,
if you'd have walked in there in the morning,
well, not even that. Started doing my setup at 7 a.m. and come 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and the bar was like, hey, nothing's working. It could have been a shitstorm really quick.
Very fast.
It could have been bad. So. Thank God I knew about it, but it's just one of those things. Once again, you just got to pivot and figure it out.
Yeah, so day of stuff, there's a lot, but obviously you're talking about planning like today, a year beforehand, and then get those in a row, and then starting from April to July.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, because you have nothing else going on, so that's good. And for the rest of the year, so that's good that you just have that.
No, I mean it's an event I would like to grow bigger. I always joke around and be nice to kind of split it with an organization of some sort to get more people, but at the same time, it is kind of nice honing in on our own. But
absolutely,
I don't know. I envision this larger event for Lake County, not just us. And it'd be nice to see, because going to other places where you see these massive events and it's just
massive.
Yeah, it'd be fun to see that, and the area can support it. Grays Lake can support it. So.
Wow, that would be a lot of fun.
It would be.
Yeah, and a lot more work. But
it would be.
A lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, cool. So planning-wise, day of stuff, I hope that helps people at least appreciate a little bit what it takes to go into a lot of these events, too.
It's a lot of stuff. I mean, it's like running a second business at this point,
Yeah, well, you have the restaurant, bar, and then you have like an event business that you're on the side basically doing this all year.
So and there's a lot of things that you have to do like that aren't even just like insurance and permits and meeting the requirements of the fire department, and there's just a lot of stuff. It's I learned one year, 2019, we were putting big signs out and we were too far in the egress for Lake County, and certain ones had to be moved, or we got our hands slapped, but it was also successful. So
right, one of those you live and learn, right?
Yeah,
every year you probably learn a little bit of things to make everything easier.
But no, there's a lot of that goes into it, and then there's a lot of things that just happen where you're like, holy crap, that actually worked. So
those are the good things, right?
Yeah, you play those off and you just write it down for next year.
Right.
So
well, cool. Well, I appreciate everything you do and bringing these events
thank you.
our town. It's fantastic. It makes our town look better. And I'd love to see everybody come out there. Like, you're talking 1,000 people.
Yeah.
Not all from Grays Lake, obviously, but
there's a lot of people. I mean, we had these guys. We called them the Lake Geneva boys or whatever.
Oh God.
So they called us last minute, and I guess they were going to Midwest Beer Fest in Kenosha, and it got canceled again. It's like 2 years in a row they canceled it. And the guys are like, "Hey, is it worth coming to your event?" I'm like, "Yeah, come out." So they took a private bus from Lake Geneva here, and it was 16 guys. And they all did VIP, and they were awesome. But they do this every year, and there's like anywhere from 15 to 30 of them from Texas, Virginia, out from Utah, and they all just fly in. It's like their time to meet, and it's like this little behaved bachelor party of older guys that are probably saying they're like 50s. They were awesome. Yeah,
I want to be part of that group.
Yeah, for it to reach that far is huge. But then we got a lot of people from outside of Grays Lake, from looking at the ticket sales and like the actual all the analytics and everything of it all.
Yeah.
So that part's cool. So I mean, and then you're not always going to get everybody that's local, because we found that out last year. We had to do ours around Labor Day weekend because of Grays Lake Beer Fest at the same time.
Right.
So it's hard getting people there. There's a lot of people that have things going on with kids and stuff, and that's one of the things that's always controlled Grays Lake. And people don't realize that. It's like, don't plan things around holidays, ever, in Grays Lake. Not even the restaurant. That's why we close on holidays. It's because people around here, they cook out. They do stuff at home. They travel. And if you want your event to be successful, you don't plan it around times that you know, like Memorial Day, Labor Day, 4th of July, stuff like that, that people are going to either be doing something, and it's going to take them a week or two to want to do something again. Right. So don't think that a week after you're going to be safe.
Gotcha.
They can catch it quick.
That's funny,
So-
though. Yeah, because there's always so much going on. And there's
Yeah.
so many events now in Grace Lake.
Yeah.
And there's so many things going on.
And then the biggest variable for us, that anything after August, you're running to school. And that's,
Yep.
I mean, we had one year that homecoming was on the same day as Bourbon Fest, our events, and
I think I remember that one, too. Yeah.
and people were like, it was tough, but I mean, you figure it out. You hope for the best.
Right. You just do whatever you can.
Yep.
Well, cool. Well, I really look forward to next year. I look forward to seeing the things
Yeah.
that the Vine is going to do, especially all the things coming up. So
Me
I
too.
encourage everybody in Grays Lake, everybody to get out and support these things, especially the Toys for Tots. Get out the pumpkin painting, is that what you call it? Pumpkin
Yeah,
painting?
we're doing that again. We did that last year the first time. Just a little cute event for kids.
Good.
It's just like our I didn't mention was we've done forever Christmas with Santa Claus every morning.
That's right.
Yeah, so one of our good friends, Jason Oates, played Santa Claus.
Right. I was going to say, you guys have the real Santa Claus.
Yeah.
That's what makes yours different.
Yeah, so it was good. And then, we've been doing that. It's one event a year where kids eat free. They get a free photo with Santa Claus. And
Oh, yeah.
typically we do the Ugly Sweater Party the same night. Most of the time it falls. So,
Super fun. I'll be there for that.
yeah.
We'll have a good time.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, thank you so much.
Yeah,
I
thank
appreciate
you.
everything that you do. Grays Lake, thank you guys for listening. Wherever you guys are at, whatever platform you're on, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Spotify, whether you're on Apple Music, wherever you listen, make sure to subscribe because that way every Tuesday you'll get an alert of a new episode coming out. And we're getting close to our 100th episode, which you'll be coming to the Vine for, just so you know. We'll talk about that at a different time. But I think that we should do the 100th episode live at the
down.
Vine. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it'd be awesome.
I think we'll have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right. Grays Lake, thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you next Tuesday.